Hi. Sorry for that crappy sound. I don't have a proper microphone since I usually don't record videos. I just want to show quickly the workflow of the addon and showcase example. So, for example, in this scene, I have a scene without any shaders and there is no world, everything is empty. But the characters have a specific names. Let's say they got like a material and, for example, sub for subdivision. You can name it whatever you want. Anyways, so if I go to render, it's black because there is no light, there is no world. And if I append a palette node tree I created earlier, let's say scene is for, let's check it all. And there we go. It automatically assigns shaders to a current geometry. It assigns a subdivision modifier if it's defined. And for example, this has a subdivision. And it would also set visibility if it's predefined. So how to do that is we have the Pellet Editor, which is based on nodes. And for example, the body, you can name it whatever. The evaluation goes from top down. So first this gets evaluated, then this, then this, then this. The scene is just a scene node which gives settings about the scene. So if you got a scene node there, you can't change anything here. It takes it from there. It takes the world. This way it automatically brings in the world if you bring in this palette to a new scene. And we got environment and, for example, body for characters. It just maybe needs to keep them apart so it can bring in individual palettes if needed. Okay, so we have a few nodes: input, input string, material, attribute is curve thickness, subdivision, visibility, combine is merge output, because this is the typical setup it needs. It needs to be connected to an output node, otherwise it will not get evaluated. So let's say we have plastic red. Everything which is called has plastic red in the name or starts with, in this case, gets this shader assigned, and it needs to be in this collection. We got collection character red. You can separate by collection because this way you can have the same character with the same names in a different collection and assign it different parameters or different shaders. So if I, for example, drag this character into the red collection, it goes red as well, because now it's been seen by this one. If I drag it back to blue, it's being seen by this assignment rules. So right now, for example, this one is called sub or underscore sub, and if I say I want everything with the name sub in it, I want it to receive a subdivision. I can create, let's say, a quick setup. Where does it go? It goes to the beginning. Say everything with the word sub in it. By the way, this supports wildcards. Let's get rid of the material, and let's say in any collection in the scene, and we give it an attribute subdivision. So it creates a subdivision modifier with these settings. If you go up there, it goes up there. Now everything with the word sub in the name has a subdivision modifier. So let's say the power of it is, if you bring in a new cache, let's say from animation department, kicks out a cache, and you want to bring in the cache, import alembic, for example, another robot, and it needs to be always in one of those collections, or you can actually just let's say instead of rubber blue in all character, everybody gets blue because the main collection is called character. So you go back to blue here, blue here. If it doesn't have a shader assigned because the rules don't apply, it creates an emission node just to let you know, hey, there is no shader assigned. So let's drag this one to the red one as well. And all of it, not just a group. Yeah, and there we got it. So it automatically has a shader assigned, has subdivision modifier applied or set, and etc. So that's it. And you can then, in a fresh scene, just append this pellet. Let's say do it again. Blender file. Let's get rid of the NodeGroups. Let's get rid of everything. Yeah, again, it's green now because it doesn't have shaders based on a thing. And append, let's say, just a body palette. So this is just a body palette which doesn't hold the environment below. So it is just in character this and this. Environment doesn't receive any shaders right now because there is no rule set for it. So hence it stays green because it's the default shader to warn you there is no shader. So we can append, let's say, the environment, and environment automatically gets everything assigned and it gets evaluated from top to bottom. If you want to do like a global override, you can create a new palette, just give it like a higher number, like 909, and call it override. So a higher number, so it appears at the very bottom. And let's do a quick setup. Let's say every object in any collection gets the chrome material. And if you disconnect that, it's not getting evaluated, so it reads again the pellets underneath. If you connect it again, it overrides everything. Yeah, and that's really it. So maybe sometimes delete this one. Okay, thanks.